Wherever we want to go, we go. That's what a ship is, you know. What the Black Pearl really is freedom.
There she is, my pride and joy. The Millennium Falcon.
Make it so, Mr. LaFord.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure.
This is the captain. We have a little problem with our entry sequence, so we may experience some slight turbulence and then explode.
Second star to the right. And straight on till morning.
The Force of Others, a Star Wars podcast. Hello there, and welcome to The Force of Others. I'm Zachary Owen Turner.
I'm Matt Boitner.
And I'm JD.
That's right, we've got a guest because we're playing a very, very special game today. We're going to draft our dream Starship crew. It's kind of Star Trek vibes, but really it's you can pull from any franchise, any story that you want. And I had joked about it being competitive, and then we'll debate who has the best crew, but it might just be, let's pick a fun crew and have fun. And just have fun on our Star Wars show, where we sometimes talk about other stuff, like we're talking about other stuff today. But welcome, JD, to the show. We'll introduce you more later. But first, we're going to go to a question from friend of the podcast and longtime listener, Brian Lawson. He says, name one original trilogy actor that is the anchor being of the franchise, as in the recasting of their character would have such a detrimental effect on the box office numbers that the galaxy never expands. So, JD, we're going to go to you first. Who would be the one Star Wars recast that you think would have messed everything up?
Like, as in, if they just recast it in general, it would have ruined everything. Sorry,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think if is it James Earl Jones wasn't the voice of Darth Vader, that character would have had no gravitas.
Ooh, that's a good one. I didn't think about that one.
That's a good one. When you listen to, like, the on-set audio, and he sounds like this, and it's so unintimidating.
Exactly.
That's a good pull. Zach, what about you?
I think it's Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
I think because he's the one that, like, he was one of the only actors that his career, shot straight out of canon right after, that, like, people grabbed onto him. They're like, Harrison Ford, whoever this guy is, I know he was in one other movie. This guy, he's captured my imagination. This character is him. I want him in everything else, and he has the biggest career out of anyone from Star Wars, I would arguably. So I think without him, I think it might just be a really cool sci-fi movie that only got one,
Completely valid arguments from both of you, and I'm very happy that we have three different picks, because I almost went Harrison Ford. I didn't even think of James Earl Jones. Prop to you, JD.
Yeah,
but
that's excellent pull.
For me, honestly, I think it's Alec Guinness. I think if Obi-Wan doesn't work, the franchise doesn't really have room to grow. And because there's so many times in that first movie where you watch Alec Guinness playing emotion as he's thinking about his past that is not defined at that point. Luke says, what happened to my father? And you see him play so much. You see him decide, this is what I'm going to tell the kid. George didn't know that Vader was Luke's dad yet, but because Alec Guinness played that is a complicated question, that left them room to go in the future, right? Same with, like, Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's a name I've not heard in a long time. And every kid's like, who's Obi-Wan? What adventures did he used to go on? Like, if he doesn't do that, you don't have as much room for the prequels. Also, if you don't buy that Arthurian knight as having so much gravitas, you don't think the Jedi are cool. You know what I mean? If he was lame, you wouldn't care about who Luke could become.
Yeah.
But three dope arguments, and I think all three of us are right. So if you have a question, listener or watcher, email your questions to forceofothersradio@gmail.com, or if you were born after 1984, just put it in the comments below. Before we get into anything else,
That's what I'll do.
Thanks, JD. So JD, we'll go to you first. How has your week been, and how has your Star Wars week been?
It's been great. As my week has been super quiet on this end. It's been a slow week at work, so it's pretty nice. And Star Wars has found me in the sense that I tried to watch Rebels for the first time this week.
Ooh.
And I hate to say it that... the second time. Tried to watch it for the second time. I hate to say it that I still cannot... The animation change is just too much for me.
Oh.
I don't know what it is. I know that I just need to get past, like, the first season. But... Oh, the skinny lightsabers, man. And like it's like Clone Wars but made by AI is what it looks like to me.
So just to perfectly valid to defend Rebels for a bit cuz it bumped everybody a little bit, myself as well. The lightsabers are animated in a way that they looked in Star Wars Episode 4. Like they were trying to go for that vibe. And I'll give you, the animation style was very, very kiddie. But especially once you get to season 3 and 4, honestly, and the end of 2, it's some of the best that Star Wars has to offer, in my opinion. Zach, do you have a Rebels defense?
if you're bumping up on skinny lightsabers, just for me, it helps like go change your mind into I'm watching Ralph McQuarrie concept art. Because all of his concept art had very, very thin rapier-esque swords.
I like that.
That might help as well.
Also, not to say that you're wrong for not liking it, but
no, but I personally think I'm wrong for not liking it.
Zach, what were you trying to say?
Completely second what you were saying, Matt. Like, end of season 2, I cried. Like season 3 is awesome. But just the lore that they expand upon is so worth the watch. So
yeah. So
that's my favorite.
All that to say, I would say just hold your nose and get through it.
You know what? For you, Matt, I'll do it.
Yay!
Ooh.
Here we go. Long-running bit on the show of me making Star Wars friends. It has been happening. It was Zach and Lance that called me out on it. I didn't really know I'd been doing this my whole life, but I'd been doing it kind of my whole life. But Zach, what about you? How's your week in Star Wars week?
Yeah, week was good. It was Kai's birthday, so we went up to Beacon, which is this really wonderful town north of the city. It's about an hour and a half out, but it's one of those like old town Americana New York towns, like rolling hills in the background, an old Main Street. Went up, did a bunch of shopping, found some fun stuff. I got didn't get any Star Wars stuff, but I did get a new coffee called Orc Grog. And it's fantastic, actually. Awesome. Drank some Orc Grog this morning. Didn't have improv this week, but, got a ton of responses from our Instagram story and through just different friends about we're putting together a Whose Line Is It Anyway style Star Wars show, improv show. Cool. So if you still have prompt ideas, please send them my way. I would love for almost all of the prompts to come from other people and not me or Matt or people that are on the show all the time. I do have some ones that I've come up with that I think are very funny that we will do, but I will credit. I've written down who has given each of them to us, and I will credit you on the show because I think that's a nice little force of others moment. But that'll probably come up in July. Just trying to figure out some how to not directly rip off Make Some Noise and Whose Line Is It Anyway? So just figuring out the structure of the show, but very excited for that. And that is kind of how Star Wars has been finding me, is I've just been thinking of funny bits in Star Wars or to do about Star Wars. So it's been a fun week. What about you, Matt? How was your week? Cool. How did Star Wars find you?
Well, it's funny. JD mentioned slow work week. It has not been a slow work week for me, but I like it that way. If there's a big Academy thing coming, that it's a lot on me, and I try to contain it to me as much as possible. But prepping for summer camp and Mary Poppins, those auditions. Well, actually, the videos were due yesterday at the time of recording, so we're watching those tonight. And then we got callbacks this Wednesday. Yee. But at other, actual real-life things, I got to see my little brother and my niece on a Saturday for his birthday. And so we were celebrating his birthday and Father's Day. And anytime that I can get up to Denton and see family is good. As for how Star Wars found me, it didn't really find me. I found it. I sought it out because there's an app called Theater Ears that with certain movies, they'll put out director commentary tracks that are only available to you if it can like verify that you are in the location that you're saying you're watching the movie while it's on. And then it will sync up the commentary track with the movie, like while you're watching it. It's really, really cool. And Favreau put out a commentary for Mandalorian and Grogu, which, you know, that let's acknowledge what a world we live in, that you have to go through that ridiculous roundabout thing to just get the DVD director commentary that we used to just have. But it was cool to listen to it. You're getting it in the theater. And everybody, a lot of people have done rundowns of like everything that he said, and I'm not going to do that, but a couple things that stuck out to me. Really, really cool. He talks about how they chilled this interior set overnight of like the conference room in that first scene where it's the Imperial Moff talking to like all of his subjects. They put that set in like basically a freezer and chilled it overnight. Talks about how they did the same thing when they shot Elf. That was the best thing. It was Favreau relating this movie back to so many other things he's done on other movies. He just likes talking movies, and it's cool. I thought it was interesting that he said Shikari, the tech noir planet, was kind of intentionally based on old 1930s gangster boxing movies. Because like we all kind of talked about, it kind of looks like Chicago. That was with like the L Train. It was intentional to be a 1930s boxing movie set up. And then in the interior of the arena is like an old school gladiator movie, which makes sense because I first heard that he said that like, Rada's kind of inspired by Adonis Creed from the Creed movies. And I was like, how does that work? But it makes sense to me now. I thought it was funny.
We did get to see him running on a beach.
Oh my God, we did. Now I'm always going to think
that'll be a good clip.
Yes. Now I'm always going to compare Grogu and Rada playing on the beach to Sylvester Stallone trying to look like he's running faster than Carl Weathers, and Carl Weathers trying so hard to look like he's running so fast, and Sylvester Stallone is running as hard as he can to beat him. It's so funny. But the coolest... Oh, two more things. Favreau dubbed Dave Filoni the puppet unit director. Like, cool. We've heard second unit, but basically Dave Filoni directed all of those puppet scenes, like all of them. And he kind of made fun of him at times, like, lots of work for Mr. David Filoni, Senor Filones, as we call him here. But that whole Grogu sequence, entirely directed by Dave. I thought that's fun. And then the coolest thing, this has done the rounds, but this broke my brain. George Lucas added something to The Mandalorian and Grogu through a roundabout way. The Y-Wing that Lee Isaac Chung flies, he's the director of some Mandalorian Season 3 episodes, but the Y-Wing that they name drop it on screen as Red Jammer, that was an unfilmed reference model for the first Star Wars movie. Favreau saw it while it was being pulled out of the archive and prepped to be displayed in George Lucas's Narrative Museum. And he was like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Oh, that was the first Y-Wing model ever built. It was just for reference. It was never shot." And he went and like calls up George Lucas and asks if they can put it in Mandalorian and Grogu. And they did. And I thought that was so cool. He did say that it like took George a while to respond, which I was like, well, that's kind of awkward.
He's a busy guy.
He's a busy guy. That's what it was. How do I text him back? How does this work? Why can't I just use my phone as a phone? But, okay. Before we get into the reason of the episode, this whole show exists to get, like, what Star Wars means to other people. And, JD, we will have you for a full review or full interview eventually. But for right now, just do a mini one. In case anybody doesn't know, John David and I have worked together for, I don't even know, like, 5 years now at the Opera House?
Yeah, 4 or 5 years.
So a long time.
Yeah.
And, but just to jump straight to the heart of it, and we'll do all the other stuff later, what does Star Wars mean to you?
Star Wars is exceptionally important to me because it's one of the first things that me and my dad ever really connected on. Awesome. And, like, my dad has, like, we have the original VHS from the original release of the first trilogy. the first box set, we have the remaster box set, we have the first box set of the sequel trilogy. Like, it has just been like such a familial part of my life since I was a kid that I just don't know. I don't know what my like interests would be without Star Wars in a way, because it's affected everything I'm interested in.
That's awesome. That's a great answer. And speaking of all your interests, go ahead, Zach.
And happy Father's Day to all of those fathers out there. That was last week, and what a great little Father's Day little message there, you know?
Yeah, that was awesome. Yes, well done. I keep forgetting to say Happy Father's Day to everybody, and whatever, Happy Father's Day last week. Well done, Zach. But speaking of all the other interests that you have, started by Star Wars, let's get into all of them, and let's draft our dream spaceship crew. So, we have 8 slots to kind of put in a Starship Bridge crew. We got captain, first officer, ship's counselor, medical or doctor, helm, your pilot, tactical, which is kind of a full-on Star Trek thing, but the person that's in charge of firing weapons and maybe also like security, your engineer that's got to fix the ship, and then specialty slot. So whatever you want that to be. That can be anything you want. And like ship's counselor, that can be like Deanna Troi from Star Trek Next Generation, who's literally the literal ship's counselor, or it could be a character that's just like the wise one of the group. It's really however you want to play it. Zach, you got a question?
So tactical isn't about like coming up with battle strategies?
Could also be that.
Okay.
Could also be that if you want it.
I was
it can
like,
be whatever you want. Yeah, they
I was
handle.
gonna say, my ship's gonna be the craziest ship you've ever seen.
I'm so excited. So we're gonna snake draft this. As the guest, JD will get to draft first, and then we'll go Zach, and then we'll go me, and then we'll go back and forth, and we'll snake draft this until we have all 8 of our choices. The only other rule: any franchise is on the table, any fictional story is on the table, but each of us can only pick characters from the same franchise twice. So once I've picked 2 Star Wars characters, I can't use Star Wars anymore. And I should have said, obviously, because it's a draft, when someone takes, just to throw this example out there, Rocket Raccoon, nobody else can take that character. They're gone. Okay? You'd think it'd be obvious, but you never know. So, okay, for our first ever draft on the Force of Others, with the first pick ever, John David, where are you going?
I know exactly where I'm going, and I'm going to take Proxy from The Force Unleashed and put him in my tactical slot.
Cool.
Wow! That's cool. Okay, you have the floor. Lay down your choice. Explain your choice.
So, I think that Proxy would make a great tactical because not only is he fluent in all forms of lightsaber combat, but he can also take on the form of almost any holographic person that you've seen. And as long as he has knowledge of the person, he can basically become a very convincing model of the person and would make a great tactical. I'm just saying, he can shoot the guns, he can protect the peeps, he can get you places. He's the all-rounder.
That is crazy. Well done. Okay, Zach, who's your first pick?
I'm going to go captain, and I'm going to take Mal Reynolds from Firefly.
I figured we'd have a couple of those angry ones. Yeah, Zach,
I was like, if
why
I'm
going to
get
Mal?
one, it's going to be that one. Mal Reynolds, one of the best captains of any sci-fi or fantasy or fictional ever. Mal Reynolds, good at taking a ragtag, crazy, different group of people and still leading them. And with my other picks, I think it's going to be a ragtag and crazy group, and I need somebody who can ring all them all in. Firefly, one of the best sci-fi shows of all time. I put up my little Firefly figurines here, so
love that.
Yeah,
love that. Okay, I am so happy he made it through, because when I think about my favorite, if not the best captain of any spaceship in any franchise, it's Jean-Luc Picard, and I don't think it's close. It is Jean-Luc Picard. If you want someone that you want to talk about, like, commanding a wide array of people, he's got like the best voice. He makes consistently the best decisions. He's constantly willing to lay down his life for anything, for any cause, as long as it's for the best. And he will sit with his crew, consult all of them, and then make the decision. And nobody questions him. He's the best. Now, as is a snake draft situation, top of the second round, I'm going first. when I think about a pilot, there is one character that I know of that the first time we hear about him, he's described as the best pilot in the galaxy. So my pilot's Anakin Skywalker. He's done taking him off the board.
Bro's
Not
got
only
wall
is
hacks
he
for flying.
he does have wall hacks for flying.
He knows
He's also
spinning. That's a really good trick.
Also, you know, it would be handy to have the chosen one on your crew. I will give you, if somebody starts threatening Padme Amidala, we might have problems and he might turn into Darth Vader, but we'll deal with that later. We got the best pilot in the galaxy. Snake Draft, Zach, you're up. Who's your second pick?
All right. I think I'm going to go engineering.
Okay.
And I think I'm going to go the person who can fix absolutely anything, the Doctor from Doctor Who. Damn it! He's got that sonic screwdriver. He can fix absolutely anything. I mean, it does everything. He's also going to be great on the crew because he's just going to be like, timey-wimey thing. Here's my sonic screwdriver. It works.
That's already,
So
that's such an entertaining 1-2 punch. Mal Reynolds and the Doctor.
I
Well,
know,
I gotta
Zach's
ask-
got to stop sharing my brain.
Well, I gotta ask, Zach, which Doctor are you taking?
Ooh, I will take, the goat. I'll take, now I'm gonna, cut this out. My brain just completely went blank. Not Matt Smith, the one before him.
Oh, JD,
Tennant?
you got David Tennant.
David
There we
Tennant,
go.
yes. I'm taking
Does
David
that mean
Tennant.
Smith's still on the
goat.
table?
Well, so
Not
let's
as the
talk about-
Doctor. No, it's one character.
Yeah,
You can't have a crew of all the Doctor.
I was just clarifying
Yeah,
for the viewers at home.
That's a valid clarification, but I feel like that's the Doctor's off the board. Yeah, dang.
Valid.
But okay. All right, JD. And so you get to pick back to back here.
Okay.
Who's your next two
So-
picks?
Then in that case, I'm going to pick my medical officer and my first mate.
Okay.
My medical officer is going to be Rick Sanchez from Rick and Morty.
Cool.
And my first mate is going to be Ellen Ripley.
Ooh. Good.
That is a
pick.
good pull. Okay,
And
explain.
Rick Sanchez is my medical officer because while his bedside manner may be terrible, he will get the job done faster than ever. And he will make you better than you were before, whether you want to or not. And Ellen Ripley being my first mate, well, because I feel like if you've seen the events of the first Alien movie, like, it pretty much tells you itself. Like, Homegirl was the only reason anyone made it out, especially that cat. And anyone who saves a cat can be my first mate on my ship any day of the week.
Jonesy? Jones?
Mhm.
Jones? Is that the cat's name?
It's like Jonesy or something like that, yeah. Well, let
Right
me
on.
look it up.
Fantastic choices. Okay. Well, moving right along, while JD looks up that name, Zach, who's your next choice?
I think I'm gonna go tactical. And
Jones?
I have 4 really good picks for this, and I actually don't know which one I want the most. But when it comes down to being able to shoot, being able to come up with a plan that can beat absolutely anyone, all of this different, just being prepared, it's got to be Batman.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sick.
It's got to be Batman, right?
In the suit or Bruce Wayne?
It doesn't matter. It's the same person.
You should definitely spring for the chair of knowledge, Batman.
Right?
That's crazy. Is that where he sits down and asks who the Joker is?
Yeah.
That's where he
Right.
kills Darkseid.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's same
Man,
thing.
Same deal?
Yeah, same
Yeah.
deal.
Is
Yeah.
that from the Doomsday Clock comic arc?
It's a Justice League story. I don't know.
It's the Justice League Apocalypse storyline.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, okay, wild. I mean, I should have known that Zach was going to take Bruce Wayne. Well done.
I mean,
okay.
he's prepared for anything.
Okay, oh gosh. All right. I got back-to-back picks here. Good Lord. I'm gonna go. So ship's counselor, I think I gotta go Yoda.
So your
I'm
Star
having
Wars is
trouble-
done.
So my Star Wars is out. I can do no more Star Wars, which breaks my heart. But when I think of like just another wise member of this crew, And I think if it was Yoda constantly talking to Anakin and nobody else, he'd have a better shot at not turning into a douchebag. And also to have another council member on your crew, that's pretty great. Now for engineering, when I think about being a prodigy, when I think about being able to fix anything, I'm going to go into my first pick from the MCU, and I'm going to go Shuri from Wakanda, from the Black Panther stuff. Because at that young...
It was a Rocket Raccoon callback.
I thought you were going to go Tony Stark.
Well, we'll see. But when I think about someone that at that young is that much of a genius and can fix anything like immediately, I think that she could absolutely make whatever ship we have go. And that would be so rad. But Zach, back to you for your next one.
I'm going to go Helm.
Okay.
And I didn't think I was going to get this far to be able to get it, but if you're going to have Mal Reynolds, you got to get Wash.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a leaf on the wind, brother. Like, what? Like, no! Like, he's great.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I actually didn't even have him written down because I thought one of you guys were going to scoop him up, so.
My heart hurts after that.
I had to go. I had to lock down Anakin as my pilot,
and
because then you got a pilot and a Jedi, and you're set. But okay, JD, your 2 picks.
All right. Shoot. Well, is Han taken?
No,
he is not.
Then pilot Han.
Absolutely valid. Absolutely valid.
Because like Han was my first pick, and then I was like, nah, Matt's taking Han for sure. And then Wash was my second pick. So now we're here.
All right,
and
so
you said 2?
So you got another one. You've still got Captain, Engineering, and Specialty slot open.
Okay, my specialty slot.
Okay.
I call it the Infiltrator. The Xenomorph.
Whoa. How are you going to control it, though?
You keep it in cryo sleep and you drop the pod on a planet.
Your ship just got very different.
It's an infiltrator, man. We don't know what we got it for. We just got it.
I was going to say, this whole time, have you been secretly making a villain ship?
No, I've just been making a ship that can handle anything.
I'm stuck on Rick Sanchez and the Xenomorph being on the same ship.
And depending on which movie, Ellen Ripley.
Man, that's wild. Okay, so Alien's off the table.
Alien's off my
JD.
table, yeah, for sure. But beat the Xenomorph.
Man, sick. Okay, Zach,
your
next pick.
It's a Star Wars podcast, so I got to get some Star Wars on here. I'm going to go First Officer, and I'm going to go Ahsoka Tano.
I knew it. You suck. Okay. Explain why Ahsoka works here.
So Ahsoka was one of my captain picks as well, but I think Ahsoka is a very practical person, and is not obsessed with being the leader. We've seen her be a support or a character that brings people together. For me, a first officer is mainly about, like, the captain needs to figure out stuff for what's going on to plan. The first officer is about, like, running the ship, about, like, cool, everything is going well. I keep all of the different people in lock, and I think Ahsoka's the best at just, like, being empathetic enough to talk to anyone, but also savvy enough to be like, hey, you need to do this. It's what we're doing, you know? And you just be like, yeah, okay, Ahsoka, sure, whatever you say.
Okay. All right. So now I got 2 picks. So this first one I feel like is crazy, and I'm going to see if y'all let me get away with it. But I think for special... I think for specialty slot, I want to go Kal-El, man. I want to go Superman.
Nice. Yeah.
I think, because especially if you get anywhere, not only is he the most, like, moral, depending on the iteration, but for who Superman is usually characterized as, this moral paragon, that's a good person to have on your crew. But also, if you get anywhere near a yellow sun, what is he not going to be able to handle? You know what I'm saying?
Batman.
Now, I got a couple choices left. Oh gosh, and I have to pick again, don't I?
Yep.
Rats.
You know,
I don't get
this
any
is-
back-to-back, so.
that's fair. This is crazy, but I'm going to do it. You know who my first officer is? When I think about balancing out the like rule follower, ultimate leader, you need a wild card. You need someone that's also kind of a cowboy. I'm gonna take Star Trek off my table, and James T. Kirk is my first officer.
I thought you would
So
go
I got
Riker.
I got both original captains as my command crew.
Nice.
So there you go.
But could
Matt's
Kirk
gonna run out of
listen
money paying all these guys.
to John Luke?
Could Kirk listen? We'll see. Well, I mean, I don't know. Hey, he eventually acquiesces to Jean-Luc the one time they ever worked together in a Star Trek Generations.
Yeah.
Who am I to disagree with the captain of the Enterprise? But Zach, next pick.
All right, I got 3 left. Specialty, medical, and ship's counselor. I think I'm going to go ship's counselor.
Okay.
I'm going to pick someone with power, but with all of the wisdom in the world, and go Uncle Iroh from Avatar.
Ooh, well done. I thought about that. Well done. Explain.
I mean, he is the ultimate advisor to everyone in that show. Some of my other picks were also like Kenobi, old Ben and Gandalf,
Yeah.
and I was like, wait, let's go away from there. What else can I get? Also, when shit hits the fan, dude's powerful,
He's the Dragon of the West.
Yeah. Also, you're gonna
Well
have
done.
great tea on the ship, which we know that everybody, almost everyone in this drinks tea, so we're good.
Right on. Okay, JD, your next 2 picks, and then you'll have 1 left over
I think I
for
only
the
have
last
2.
round. No, you still got 3 because captain, ship's counselor, and
Oh yeah.
engineering.
Oh, I forgot
But,
about counselor. I'm so sorry.
You're good.
So captain,
Mhm.
I think for captain, I'm torn. I'm torn because I can't go anywhere without my boy Captain Rex.
Ooh.
But I also think Optimus Prime would be a great captain.
Could he fit in the ship?
He
Would
is
he
the
be
ship.
the ship?
That's crazy. So are you
That's a
going?
great
Are you
pull.
going Optimus Prime?
I think I'm going Optimus Prime.
That's
I
so awesome.
just thinking about it. It's kind of great.
That's so awesome.
He could probably keep the xenomorph in check,
Except between Rick and Optimus, the Xenomorph is a puppy.
That is true. That's crazy. Well done. All right. So who's your next pick?
Now engineering. Now this is the one that I'm gonna need some weighing in on because my first pick off the rip was Brian's character from our Boys in Space campaign.
Real quick, explain that so the people know what you're talking about.
You know who Babu Freaks? Babu Freaks is.
Oh yeah, Babu Frick.
That's Brian, but his name is Givu Fak. And he's just an engineer who's got a orb of hoagie holding, and anytime you're hungry, he can just push a button and a hoagie pops out. So like, name a better engineer.
And I want to real quick. What he means, they have a home RPG campaign that is all sci-fi mixed together in one deal. He has a bag of hoagie holding.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So do you want Givu Fak to be your engineer?
I think he's got to be, because like low key, his whole thing is he's never let us down so far. He's been able to whip out anything we need overnight.
Did I spell it right?
GEVU. But other than that, yes.
All right. I guess I didn't think about that, but yeah, homemade characters are on the table as well. All right, Zach.
I'm getting a audible from the boss. She said it's 2 E's.
Hi, Emmy. We just heard her coming through. Hi, Emmy. That's awesome. Okay, Zach, your second to last pick.
All right, we got medical and specialty slot. I'm in between two on my medical. And one would be funny, the other would be more practical. So I'm going to go practicality. I'm going to do Pike Trickfoot from Critical Role
Wow.
Yeah. Because magic healing, you don't need to know all the science. You could just go, all right, healing word, done. Mass heal.
That's
I was like, we need a cleric, And I feel like with the other characters I got going on, it's like a nice, pick.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotta make sure she's in good with the Everlight, though.
Yeah, it's true.
So I've made a weird crew, but tactical, I'm kind of surprised he's still on the table. I think when I think about being able to create and control weapons, I think you gotta go Tony Stark, Iron Man. I think you have to. I think that's definitely the move. And hold on, because I haven't figured out a doctor yet. Because now Star Trek's off the table, MCU's off the table. I think I'm gonna, I don't like that. Okay, I will pull another DC Comics thing, and I think I'm gonna go Raven, Teen Titans.
Cool.
Did I? Yeah, because I've only got yeah. So I'm gonna go. That's my pick for Doctor.
Nice.
Because at that point, I guess I could have. Well, I won't say that. Well, no, because everybody's got. I almost went Simon Tam, but I feel like Raven would be way more useful than just kind of a normal doctor from Firefly. But okay, so my crew is set. Zach, who do you have for your specialty slot?
Well, my backup medical was Baymax from Big Hero 6.
That's a great choice.
But
That's
specialty,
great.
I have so many options now because there's so many that I didn't pick. So much fun stuff. I might do a wild card here.
Cool.
But someone... Oh, I don't know. Sorry. There's just like so many that I could do here. I'm going to do a wild card pick here.
Okay.
And I'm going to do someone who just has crazy luck, makes luck for themselves, has a compass that goes anywhere they want to go. And I'm going to do Jack Sparrow.
I'm sitting right here.
Why is the rum gone? That is hilarious. Yeah. I thought about that. That's crazy.
He was almost my helmsman, but...
That's crazy. What a wild crew. Okay. All right. First pick and last pick of the draft. JD, who is your ship's counselor?
So I had someone picked, and I was ready to go off the rip. And they haven't been picked yet. But now looking at the roster, I'm like, I think I need to up my game here.
Okay.
But Star Wars is off the table, and oddly enough, Alien is off the table.
Star Wars isn't off the table for you,
I got
unless you're
Proxy
counting.
and Han.
Oh, you're so
Proxy.
right. I'm dumb. That's right. Okay.
I think for my ship's counselor, I will go with... You know what? Deep cut. Dr. Zira from Planet of the Apes.
Wow! That is a deep cut. Explain.
Dr. Zira is literally a counselor for species that she doesn't understand. Her whole thing is studying the human species, which they know nothing about. And so therefore, I think that she'd be able to help people through the use of like physical therapy and like body language and like mental projection rather than necessarily like the typical counseling approach. And I think that would benefit a ship landlocked in space, essentially isolated from
Cool.
society.
Guys, this was so fun.
Yeah.
This is kind of crazy.
Do we want to give
So-
people the option to change any of their picks? Like one round of just if there's one that you don't like, that you're like, maybe not. If not, no worries.
What do we think?
The pick is done.
I think these are the teams, but then we can go through and you can say if you would change anything. But I think we got to be locked in.
Cool. And then I think a fun way to finish this off is based off of your picks. What's the name of your ship?
Oh yeah. Well, I think JD's is the Optimus Prime, right?
Yeah. The Primal.
The Primal. That's good.
That's crazy. Well, okay. Well, Zach, what's the name of? Well, all right. So first off, so JD, if you would change anything, what would you change?
Nothing. My ship's perfect.
Cool. What about you, Zach?
The only one that I'm thinking about possibly changing is maybe switch out Jack Sparrow for Gandalf, but I like.
Yeah, I'm so surprised you didn't.
Well, I went Uncle Iroh instead, and I figure, I feel like for the group that I have, it's fun. For my ship, I think I'm gonna call it the Dragon Leaf.
Ooh, I'm a leaf on the wind.
I'm a leaf on the wind. You got the Uncle Iroh,
and
you got some Pike
like a
Trickfoot
leaf.
in there.
I love it.
Okay, so I feel like this is the cop. I honestly, I don't think I would change anything. I mean, Raven is the only one that I'm not like in love with as a character or a choice, but I think that she would be great in this job.
Can I pitch a alternate DC person for you?
Sure.
Dr. Manhattan.
Oh my
I
God.
thought about it. I definitely thought about it, but I was like, I don't know if he's technically a medical doctor. But also, hey man, I think Jean-Luc Picard's gonna have a hard enough time keeping Anakin Skywalker from going to the dark side. I didn't want to put a literal god that's gonna have an existential crisis at some point.
That's
on
fair.
the
Should
crew.
have hired Rick. Should've taken care of it. That's all I'm saying.
It's not like Rick isn't like the king of the existential crisis.
Rick Sanchez is the king of winning. That's all I'm saying.
But as far as the name, I mean, if we could take a name that's already exists, I feel like I've got both captains of the Enterprise. The ship has to just be called the Enterprise. You know what I mean? Maybe like Krypton's Enterprise or something, because Superman's there. I don't know. But
so is Tony Stark.
Yeah, but the Iron Enterprise sounds... I don't even know. That also just makes it sound like it's like a World War II like battle plan, the Iron Enterprise or something. But to give a rundown for the people that are listening and not watching, JD had Optimus Prime, Ellen Ripley, Dr. Zero, Rick Sanchez, Han Solo, Proxy, Givu Fok, and the Xenomorph. Zach had Mal Reynolds, Ahsoka Tano, Uncle Iroh, Pike Trickfoot, Wash, Batman, Doctor Who, specifically David Tennant, and Jack Sparrow. And then I had Jean-Luc Picard, James T. Kirk, Yoda, Raven, Anakin Skywalker, Tony Stark, Shuri, and Superman. Bottom line, I think that y'all's two crews are more entertaining than mine. Mine would be like efficient. And y'all's would be kind of off the wall and insane.
In two completely different ways.
Yeah, JD's would just all of a sudden get teleported into a different time and universe by Rick, and they're just trying to get back while trying to keep the Xenomorph contained, and the captain is also the ship.
I fully think that Rick Sanchez has just like shrunk the Xenomorph to the point where it fits in his pocket. And he can just kind of pull it out and grow it like Ant-Man style.
And throw it at
That's
people.
my headcanon. Yeah.
I would also love to see Dr. Zira trying to counsel the Xenomorph.
I mean...
So you haven't eaten anyone in how many days?
Yeah.
I just want to see Uncle Iroh and Batman drinking tea, mourning their lost family members.
Yeah.
that got dark. Anyway, so leave your dream spaceship crew in the comments below or to forceofothersradio@gmail.com. That's one last question, because this went a little faster than I anticipated. If any of you guys could build like your dream, who were like your dream first picks for all of these places? Because there were multiple like, no, as we were going through.
I got kind of most of mine. I have a couple of like pocket ones that I think were really fun if you want some alternatives.
Sure. Sure.
For specialty slot, I thought about doing MacGyver. For tactical, I debated doing Sherlock Holmes.
Ooh.
Yeah. For ship's counselor, I almost did Dr. Sharon Fieldstone from Ted Lasso. And for first officer, I was debating
awesome.
either Mr. Gibbs or Smee, you know.
Smee! Just take a literal pirate.
Yeah.
What about you,
got
JD?
Jack Sparrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think most of them were my top pick. I think the two that I didn't get were pretty clear. Malcolm as captain and Wash as pilot was the two that I was like. But honestly, the one I was most excited about was Proxy.
That's
like,
cool one.
That's one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time. Surprised I got him.
Yeah, dude. That honestly, he didn't even occur to me. That is a great choice. Only other ones that I had on my board, I don't know about necessarily like dream picks, but Thrawn.
Yeah.
I thought about for tactical. Biggest problem being is, depending on the iteration, he is a douchebag villain, and didn't really want to. I wanted like we could do like a villain. Maybe we'll draft our dream villain team at some point.
Well, JD.
But I thought about Thrawn. I guess it's true. JD does have the xenomorph on his crew.
It's an animal.
I thought about Thrawn. I thought about Amazo for kind of like the same reason that JD pulled Proxy, but I didn't want to. That DC Comics, in case you don't know. But the problem is, in every iteration, like Amazo, if he sees a power, he can just duplicate it. But in every version, he kind of just becomes an unstoppable machine that they kind of have to contain and like put in a pocket universe. I thought about Dr. Reed Richards.
Cool.
Mr. Fantastic. Just as being just one of the smartest characters in any piece of fiction ever, and having a really strange power set. But a strange power set, and in his first iteration, he is a astronaut.
Yeah.
That's how he gets his powers. The only argument you could make against any of these people is that some of them have never been to space. Would Jack Sparrow lose his mind and forget to put his helmet on? I thought about Dr. Ryland Grace from Project Hail Mary.
Cool.
Just for kind of a wild card and just like general genius. And similarly, I thought about, Matt Damon, the astronaut from The Martian.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name right now. Mark Watney.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Pulled it out. And then the last other choice that I was debating was Data from Star Trek. Just again, like basically brilliant. I'm wrong. I had another one. Brilliant, could do anything. And then if it was really down to it, I was going to go C-3PO for specialty, because I did realize there is no one on my crew that can speak to aliens.
Raven might be able to with like some magic.
Raven might be able to, and like Yoda might be able to like commune with them, but in terms of instantly just de-escalate and like communicate, I don't really have. I got a lot of smart people.
You got Tony Stark and Shuri.
No,
they'll figure it out.
They'll figure it out. They'll create a universal translator.
Oh, one more that if you guys had taken all of my Helms people, my last little pocket one was going to be Star Fox.
I thought about Star Fox too. That's crazy. That's so crazy. Well, dudes, this was so fun.
Yeah.
This was great. Like I said, leave your picks in the comments below. And before we say anything else, JD, thanks for coming on the show. We made it happen. We'll get you here for an interview soon. But I don't know, anything you want to say to the people before we let them go? Any last words, JD?
I'm so excited to be here. I'm glad I got to be here. And so excited to meet you, Zach.
Yeah,
and
great to
let
meet you.
Star Wars live on.
Yeah, love that. Let Star Wars live on. Zach, let the people know how they can get involved, what they just watched, listened to, or otherwise experienced.
Yeah, if you want to send your pics to us, you can comment down below on whatever form you're watching this, or email us, forceofothersradio@gmail.com. Like and hit the notification bell if you're on YouTube. It does help you see when we're posting. And leave us a 5-star review if you're on a podcast listening app. Otherwise, we are not the Force of Others. You are. We want to hear from you. Send us your questions. Send us your ideas. If you have any Star Wars prompt ideas for the improv game that I'm going to run, send them my way, or to the email or wherever you can find us. And yeah, that is how you can get involved. Anything else you want to add, Matt?
Yeah, I just want to shout out next week, before I kind of ghost from the podcast for like the next several weeks because of work, Zach and I are going to watch Fanboys, because I've never seen it. Zach's seen it before, but I was looking at it and going, well, wait a minute, all these people are coming to Rebel ScumCon in a couple weeks. We'll have the potential to talk to them. I should probably have seen this film. So we're going to watch the Star Wars kind of like spoof, comedy, whatever movie directed by Kyle Newman from back in the mid-2000s at some point, Fanboys, and we'll give our review for that next week. And I also might finally review the 2 Fate of the Jedi books that I read like months ago at this point, and I keep forgetting that I haven't talked about them on the show. I liked them both, but that's coming. Oh, as well, I should shout out, I've got 3 interviews that I'm editing and kind of having in the can for whenever we'll get them out with Limitless Nerd, Meddler's Corner, and Fulcrum Noah. So those are coming as well, and that's everything we got going on. Mm-hmm. But in the meantime, as Zach said, remember, we are not the Force of Others, you are, and the Force of Others will be with you
always.
You said the thing!
A Star Wars podcast.